Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the RP channel. If you are returning, it's been so long, but I am back with you guys here today to talk about the exact things I did to become disgustingly confident and magnetic. So let's get into today's video as we discuss basically everything I did in order to stop dimming my light and become my highest potential self, which I am not fully there, but I'm getting there every single day and I'm going there alongside you guys. So let's get into today's video. Number one, the exact thing I did to become confident and magnetic. The first thing I did, I stopped hanging out with people who aren't able to hype themselves up. People who aren't able to openly say to you or to themselves, this is what I love about myself, or oh my God, I love that I do this, or I'm able to do this, and da 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 da. That makes somebody wildly attractive because it shows that they're unafraid to hype themselves up regardless of what other people are gonna think about them. It is not you being full of yourself, because it's like, why wouldn't you gas yourself up the same way you would another person, right? Confidence isn't cocky when it's rooted in self-acceptance, and anybody that's triggered by it, that's their wounds to deal with and not yours. It feels like working on yourself becomes something to hate because nobody else wants to do it or they shame you for doing it, when in reality it should be your top priority to take care of yourself. And that is where Get Healthy UTV comes in, which is also the sponsor of today's video. Recently, as many of you may know, I've been taking on a lot of new ventures, such as my private online community that I recently started up. So I've been running that, I run the podcast, and alongside the YouTube channel, which I haven't been here much, I apologize, but the consistency is coming back. It's been a crazy couple months, and on top of everything else, it is a one-woman show that I'm running, which means I am my own editor, my own manager, etc. I do everything myself, so obviously the tasks really pile up. It's hard to balance fitness and health simultaneously. I wasn't able to attend my regular yoga classes either because of the last couple months, and so I'm so grateful that they reached out to me because I was able to do some at-home yoga workouts, which, by the way, I was so surprised to see that they had a variety of options, like so many different types of yoga, because I've been doing yoga for so long and I know that I've tried a bunch of different ones and I know exactly which ones work best for me. I did the 22-minute power flow yoga session because I wanted that movement, but I also wanted the mindfulness as well. So if you want to try that out, that's there for you. If you're interested in other things and yoga is not your thing, there's a multitude of other things that you can try, such as strength workouts, kickboxing, abs, core, barre, guys. Try a barre class on the website. I used to view online workouts or like at-home workouts as kind of ineffective because I never thought they actually could build strength or do anything for you, but they're just as effective in building a healthy lifestyle or creating a healthy lifestyle for yourself. Get Healthy UTV is essentially your online resource for workouts, health tips, fitness inspiration, anything you can think of. And in addition, this is the best part about it, you get access to live Q&A sessions with actual real life trainers. So if you have questions on your fitness journey, you can just go straight to asking them those questions, because I know that on my personal fitness journey, I've really struggled with having somebody to answer those questions for me. And it takes longer for you to get there because you have to learn to answer those questions for yourself. So this way you can just ask them straight up and it'll benefit you on your fitness journey, okay? I always talk about the importance of fitness and I still think it's really important. I will always think it's really important and I try to practice it in my own life too. But that being said, the first 1,000 people that click the link in my description will essentially get a full year of premium access or premium membership to Get Healthy UTV for only $1.45. It's 49 cents, sorry. $1.49. And it's only valid for new members only. So if you guys are interested, that is there for you. And let's get back into the video. Number two, the second thing I did to be confident and magnetic, disgustingly confident and magnetic, is by talking to random strangers, because I realized my embarrassment was in my own head. One of the easiest life skills I've ever learned was learning how to talk to people. I used to overcomplicate it so much, and if you grew up as an introvert, you probably do this too, where you think, oh my goodness, the person's gonna think this of me, I have to keep the conversation going, and you're thinking so much about what you're about to say next that you're not actually listening to what the person is saying to you. The thing that changed the game for me was realizing that everybody is just like you, which means if you're thinking about yourself, then they're also thinking about themselves. And when you realize this, it almost becomes more human and you can actually talk to each other based on that relatability. I mentioned it a lot where like I made it my mission this year to just go up to random women in public who I find interesting and talk to them, create conversations, learn interesting things. And this is the biggest takeaway that I had, which is that a lot of these women were thinking about themselves, were nervous themselves, even though I was nervous to go up to them and talk to them and create conversation. They were just as nervous receiving the conversation and reciprocating, you know? Your embarrassment is a lie that your brain tells you because it's trying to protect you. The bottom line of what the mind does is try to protect you at all costs. So don't fall into that trap. Push past your comfort zones and you'll be just fine. Number 3, being apologetically nice even when nobody else is. Sometimes when you're nice to somebody and they don't reciprocate or they don't show you the same energy back, it can feel very defeating and very discouraging. But at the same time, you get to live with the fact that you went up to that person and you started the conversation, you led the conversation, you were interested in getting to know them, and that is a power that you have in and of itself. The thing that I realized in my life as I grew older is being nice with boundaries is what gets you far. It's not enough to just be nice. It's not enough to just always have really rigid boundaries that, you know, nobody can ever really get close to you. You need to have an even balance of both. It makes you magnetic because it's shown in the way that you carry yourself, and you can see that you do not care what other people think about you. You're just living authentically as yourself. In addition to this, actually, one of the things I used to do all the time was feel guilty about feeling happy when everybody else was down bad. Like whenever I felt like I was enjoying my life, but I looked around me and nobody else was enjoying life, I would try to almost like invalidate my happiness or just not want to be happy, or like, you know, just not want to be joyful and live as me, because I was like, wait, everybody else is struggling. Why should I not struggle in the same way? Stop waiting for everybody else to feel good with you. Just feel good, enjoy your own life. Obviously show up for your loved ones in the way that you can, but the more you pour into yourself, the more that you enjoy your own life, you can spread that joy to other people. It's like essentially me having to tell myself that you don't need permission to be at peace. Like you don't need permission from other people to be at peace. You can be at peace within yourself at any given moment. You just have to decide that for yourself, right? Number 4, this is one of the biggest ones. And if you do this, stop doing this. 4, dressing like I'm going somewhere important, even if I'm not. I love doing this. Wear that crazy dress that you're saving for an occasion. Wear the crazy hats, the crazy accessories that you think everybody's going to judge you for, whether you're going to school. I do not care. When I was in high school, I used to bust out the most craziest outfits. And, you know, they were a little bit too crazy for my liking now because my aesthetic has really changed. But even now, when I'm going to any place, I really try to dress myself up. If I enjoy it, if I feel like I want to be comfortable, I'm obviously not going to put myself in that attire. But anytime that I'm going to any place that I'm like, you know what, I think this will be really nice, but then I have this thought that comes up behind it where it's like, but everybody else is not going to be dressing as nicely, and I'm going to be the only one that looks like that, and I'm going to draw too much attention to myself. I completely shut it down, and I'm like, do you want to wear the dress or not? Do you feel like you feel beautiful in the dress? Then wear the damn dress. You only live once, right? Funny thing is, the people that used to make fun of me for being overdressed later came to me and said, oh my God, I get it now. I feel so much better when I dress nicer and I put myself together, because you feel good, you look good, you feel good, vice versa. Always came up to me afterward and would say like, I get it now, I feel amazing when I dressed up. So I totally get why you do it. First they talk about you and then they copy you. Just remember that. Number 5, being the main character of my life and believing that everything is always serving my highest good every second of the day, no matter what happens. This has a lot to do with learning how to take up space in your life and basically not being afraid of the riches that life has to offer. And mind you, not all of them are tangible. And this is a really good way to think about it. I wrote this down. Every challenge, plot development. Every win, a hero moment. Right? Like your life is like a storybook. It's not delusion, it's perspective. Take up space, say yes to life. Again, you are here once. What are you doing with your life if you're not the main character of your life? Be the main character. This is your life anyway. You're not going to be anybody else in this lifetime. You might be in the next lifetime. I don't know if you believe in reincarnation, yada, yada, yada. But in this life, you are you. You were born as you. So make sure you take advantage of that. Give yourself knowledge, give yourself love, take up space, and just like be the person you know you're meant to be, or that you are in your heart. You know who you are in your heart, but sometimes it's really hard to show that in the external world. Number 6, positivity beats negativity every and all the time. It actually, people say in science that it's a lot easier for the mind to think in negative ways than it is to think in positive ways, because the mind is always talking to you about trying to keep you safe. And if there's no risk, then you stay alive the entire time, right? If you don't take risks, there's no room for failure, is what your mind essentially says to you. But positivity is the best power move. Like, it's a huge power move, positivity. And when you meet positive people, it's almost weird because most people are very negative nowadays. It's easier to talk shit. It's easier to not take accountability. It's easier to complain about life than to change things, to surround yourself with better people, to take accountability for your actions, to actually want to be a better person. That's the harder way for a lot of people. And it's easier to talk shit about people and just go about your life, not actually changing anything. So that's why most people end up there rather than being somebody who's actually positive. The mindset shift that changed a lot for me was thinking like, I think we always often think about, oh my God, this is wrong, that's wrong, life is going like this right now. But the question you need to ask yourself, or the thing you need to ask yourself, is what's not wrong? There's so much in life that's not wrong. I still have my body, I still have my breath, you know, I still have all of the things that make me a great person. I have good people around me. Or maybe if you don't, you have other things to appreciate too. But it's always those things that we take for granted until they leave, right? I always talk to myself about this. I'm like, do not take advantage of this, or do not take this for granted, because one day when this is gone, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, crap, I should have appreciated it more. I should have appreciated that person more, or whatever they did for me more, or the tea that I was drinking. This is my last tea bag that I have in my cabinet, and I'm like, why didn't I enjoy drinking it more? But most times I was drinking it in the morning. I was in a rush, which, by the way, I'm not totally blaming myself for that, but yeah, minor examples. Number 7, I started looking at myself as someone who people would be lucky to be friends with. I had gone to a coffee date with a very, very sweet girl that I had met. She ended up being one of the sweetest women that I've ever met in my life. Such beautiful energy, such a beautiful woman, like just carried herself so well and so confident, which is exactly why I went up to her, because I sensed that energy from her when I was like walking past her. Whenever I would interact with her, I always felt that she was such a confident person. So I was like, wait a second, let me ask for her number. And she ended up giving it to me. So anyways, we're sat and we're talking, and she says, you know, like, I actually was talking to my friend the other day about seeing you, because I told him that I was going to go have some coffee with you. And she said to him, oh, I really hope that, you know, I feel so lucky that I get to, something along the lines of like, I feel so lucky that I get to like meet her and get to know her. Like, that's so exciting. And I really hope that I'm like, you know, just being a little bit more, I guess, cautious of the energy that she was going to bring to the table, to make sure that I accept her in that sense, because that's what we do as human beings. And then he was like, you know what? Why don't you feel like she's lucky to be able to sit down and have coffee with you? Because I had been sitting down with this girl and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, she is such an amazing person to be around. She's so confident, radiates so much magnetism. I feel so lucky to be here. But it's funny that she was thinking the same thing about me. So I started looking at myself as somebody who people would be lucky to be around, because if you don't see yourself that way, then people will never actually enjoy your energy. That takes you having to enjoy your own energy first. I hope my story made sense. I'm on no sleep right now, but we're gonna keep it going because this is a good video. This is good vibes. Number 8, you look better when you smile. You know, in those movies where like the guy says to the girl, like, oh, you look better if you smile, then blah, 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 and they make a whole joke out of it, and then the girl gets mad at him, whatever. I feel like there's some truth to that saying. On a personal level, that's what I feel like, because people are always telling me when they meet me that I'm like glowing from within. And I always thought to myself, what does this mean? But if you've ever watched Eat, Pray, Love, the guy that's like teaching her how to meditate and all that stuff, he says, okay, each day you're gonna practice a smiling meditation. And then he said, it's not so easy though. You gotta smile with your face, you gotta smile with your mind, and you gotta even smile with your liver. And like, what does this mean to smile from within, right? It's like to radiate that beautiful light energy from within, because I truly think that it shows on the outside too, guys. Trust me. Like, when you have negative thoughts, or you're constantly selling yourself these narratives about your past or about other people, like, you look dull, you look unhappy, you don't smile. And they also say that by the end of your life, you will see what type of emotion you felt for the most part of your life. Like, if you felt sad or you always cried, that's what your face will look like by the end of your life. I don't know if that's true, but I've noticed in a lot of people that radiate that glow from within. They're always like, it's almost like they're smiling with their whole body. So smile as much as possible. I know it sounds corny. I know it sounds something that's really simple. There's always a reason to smile, you guys. Like, I really am a positivity bubble. I've always been a very positive person. I've been shamed for it, but I don't care. Okay, I bring the good vibes because I truly believe that the world needs more of it. Listen, I have an RBF. I'm very aware of it. So I stopped taking that approach to strangers. I was like, you know what? Let me be aware of my face right now. Let me just smile if I interact with a stranger, if I walk past them, whatever it is. Any chance I get, I literally take the chance to smile. If I don't get a smile back, it's fine. I don't take it personally. It is what it is, right? Number 9, and the last one, own exactly who you are right now and accept that you are always growing. Do not be embarrassed. There's a saying that goes, embarrassment fades, but ownership radiates. I used to always, like, even recently, I was struggling with the fact that I don't know everything that there is to know about my life, but I never will. Like, it'll always be me having to progress in some way. So why feel embarrassed about where I currently stand in my life, you know? I feel like it's such an important thing to realize, because then you can take yourself so far when you can fully accept where you are in this moment. And when you own it, that just shows true, like, you just radiate in a different way in other people's eyes because you're like, wait a second, you're like fully taking accountability for who you are and you're owning who you are. It's funny because this is something that the girl that I was sitting down to have coffee with said to me. She said, whatever you don't tell yourself or whatever you don't tell other people is what makes it, like, that's what makes it a big deal, is if you keep it to yourself. Like, in the same way you can think of your weaknesses, because it's like when you try to hide it or when you're embarrassed about it, it becomes a big deal to you in your head, and then you think it's a big deal to other people who are watching you, but it's not at all, and you're just wrapped up in your own mind. But in reality, if you owned who you were at this very moment, you wouldn't struggle as much with trying to show up as your authentic self. At least that's in my experience, right? I hope that made sense. But that is all for today's video. You are a queen. I love you so much. I will see you in the next video. Sorry I've been absent, but I will be back here. And by the way, I just want to add that I did, like I mentioned, I did open my online community. It is fully free right now for a limited time only. So if you do want to join, you want to learn some life skills, you want to have conversations with real women who are like-minded, who are on this journey with you, then you can absolutely join. I will leave the link below. But anyways, I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.